of stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly seen, and the rockets' red glare and bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning and welcome to our virtual Veterans. Good morning and welcome to our virtual Veterans Day event at Inver Hills Community College. My name is Tony Pangle, Director of Safety and Security for Inver Hills and Dakota County Technical College. I am a military veteran that proudly served our country for 17 years and was medically discharged as a result of a deployment to Iraq in 2013. I am also an Inver Hills alum. I graduated from the law enforcement program back in 1993 and went on to a career in the criminal justice field for several years. I started out as a St. Paul police officer, moved to become a police chief for 3 Minnesota communities, and after that, I worked as the safety and security manager for Bethesda Hospital in St. Paul, Minnesota. As a new Inver Hills employee last spring, I saw the great work our Yellow Ribbon Company performs to recognize our current students and graduating military service members. I am here today to recognize and thank our military students, graduates, and all the veterans who have served our country every day. Veterans have a unique story, and they, like most of us, truly appreciate when they know someone like our Yellow Ribbon Company team has their six. Our presentation today will explore the impact of Minnesota's Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program, a national model of coordinating efforts to support service members, veterans, and military family members. Before we get to our keynote speaker, Annette Kuiper, Director of Military Outreach for the state of Minnesota, I would like to introduce 2 Inver Hills personnel who have organized this great event. Sue Flanagan, Veteran Services Coordinator at Inver Hills, and Sally Dahlquist, Chair of the Yellow Ribbon Company.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Sue Flanagan, and I'm the Veteran Services Coordinator here at Inver Hills Community College. I have had the pleasure in working with our presenter, Annette Kuiper, for many years with the Beyond Yellow Ribbon program. In this presentation, I hope that you will walk away with a better understanding in how our communities and businesses serve our veterans, service members, and their families. For all of our veterans in the audience, thank you for your service. Now I would like to introduce Sally Dahlquist, who is the Inver Hills Chairperson for Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and the Director of Paralegal Program.
Thank you, Sue. Yes, I'm Sally Dahlquist, and I'm Chair of the Yellow Ribbon Company at Inver Hills Community College. Inver Hills was designated as a Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Company in August of 2010 by Governor Mark Dayton. Our mission is dedicated to the power and promise of education. We inspire students, we build careers, and we strengthen communities. In addition, the college builds awareness and takes action to recognize and support service members and military families before, during, and after deployment. As part of our continued commitment to serve our military and veteran population, we host this annual Veterans Day event to give back, honor, and thank our veterans for their service. So at this time, I'd like to introduce and bring forward our president of Inver Hills Community College and Dakota County Technical College, Michael Berndt, so that he can now introduce our special keynote speaker. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sally. And I just want to echo others in thanking all of you who have served in our military and those of you who are family members who have supported them in their service. We deeply appreciate your commitment to protecting and serving all of us. So good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome Annette Kuiper. She is currently as as Tony said, the Director of Military Outreach for the state of Minnesota. And in that role, she has overseen program development, strategic communications, outreach, and coordination of military support programs for the Department of Military Affairs. As a civilian on the Adjunct General's staff, Ms. Kuiper serves as a liaison between the Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs, Military Affairs, and other federal agencies, commissions, nonprofit, and professional associations. So in this capacity, she also oversees Minnesota's Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program. Now, after her son deployed in 2005, she led the effort in Farmington, Minnesota, to become the first Yellow Ribbon city in the state. Since 2005, she volunteered with the Minnesota National Guard Deployment Cycle Support Team as a speaker and educator on military deployment issues. And then in 2008, she was awarded an Outstanding Civilian Service Medal from the Department of the Army. In 2010 and 2019, she was awarded the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve 7 SEALs Award for meritorious leadership and initiative in supporting men and women who serve America in the National Guard and Reserve. Finally, Ms. Kuiper is a member of the John Vesey Jr. chapter of the Association of the United States Army. So a truly distinguished record of service in support of our veterans and their families. So please join me in welcoming Annette Kuiper.
Thank you, President Burt. I'm so honored to be with everyone here today, especially as we're looking forward to our week of Veterans Day and your Veterans Day celebration. As Sue mentioned, our relationship with Inver Hills Community College has gone way back, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell a little bit about our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program, which is unique in the nation and is a great kind of example to everyone. And what you're doing within the college and within your community helps us to set the tone for the nation of what we can do to support our service members, veterans, and military families. So let's go on to the next slide. And really looking back to what Veterans Day really started as in 1954 and what it really means, as President Eisenhower shared, what he wanted Veterans Day to be all about. And remembering the sacrifices and remembering those who have served, who are currently serving, and their families that we know are in Minnesota communities and Minnesota workplaces all across the state. And we want to ensure that we have created a state that allows no opportunity for a military member to feel isolated, alone, or unsupported. Next slide. In 2008, Minnesota really wanted to take a look at how could we ask Minnesota communities to create support and services to synchronize community resources in support of service members, veterans, and military families. And we had a unique challenge in the state. We're one of few states that don't have an active military base to really pull those services and support together and rally around. Could we take a Minnesota community and ask them to create the kinds of services and support that an active duty installation would have, not only before, during, and after a deployment, but for our veteran community who are aging within our Minnesota communities, for our military families when their service member is at training, or in your case, at school or in the workplace. We wanted to ensure that that was really happening. And we partnered with the University of Minnesota Humphrey Institute, who was actually looking at how could communities help solve societal problems. And they were our partners right from the very beginning. And as President Burt mentioned, we used Farmington as an example, the city of Farmington, very close to you guys. We really wanted to take a community and see how we could ask a community to create a network of support. But we also knew that we needed to have certain minimum requirements of that community. And what were we asking of that community? Next slide. And that's when we really began our Yellow Ribbon Community Program. It was an opportunity to ask a community to bring together key partners and to meet certain minimum requirements to enable us to look at every area within the community educate them on military resources, and tap into the resources they already had. And I have a wonderful story of when we first started that Inver Hills Community College came to the rescue of the Yellow Ribbon Community Network in Farmington. We had a Dakota County sheriff who pulled a young man over, and he was drinking one night on a county road in Dakota County. He ended up having to go to jail that night, but the Dakota County officer, sheriff, was able to connect with the Yellow Ribbon Community Network. They were able to contact them because this young man lived with his mother in the community of Farmington. He was also a student at Inver Hills Community College. The Yellow Ribbon Community Program got to work supporting his mother, who was disabled and needed help with her lawn care because her son ended up having to go to treatment. Also during that time, I immediately called Sue Flanagan at Inver Hills Community College, and you were towards the end of your quarter. And this young man was a student and needed to finish some courses and was concerned about finishing those courses while in alcohol treatment facility. Sue was able to work with his instructors to allow him to finish. Now, this is way back in 2008 when we did not have online learning, or it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And she was able to work with the teachers to ensure that he could finish his courses. It was about 2 years later that I ran into his mother. And while he had another bout with treatment, he was actually doing very well. And this is an example of how we can partner together within our communities, and how Inver Hills Community College was able to partner and look outside the box to help a veteran be able to get the services and support that they needed. So that's a wonderful story that I share every time I speak and talk about Inver Hills Community College and the great work that you guys in partnership that you have with our networks. Now, our community networks really are asked to form a steering committee and to meet certain minimum requirements. It is a little bit of an effort to become a Yellow Ribbon community in the state of Minnesota. They have to put forth an action plan to our state review board, which is leaders from the governor's staff, Veterans Affairs, Military Affairs, and the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, or DEED. Today, we have 80 networks that are encompassing 232 cities and 29 counties. You might, those of you who are local to Dakota County might also hear in the news next Wednesday on November 11th, right on Veterans Day proper, we will be proclaiming Northern Dakota County Network, which will include the cities of Lilydale, Mendota, Mendota Heights, and West St. Paul as our newest Yellow Ribbon communities. They have formed one network in Northern Dakota County to continue this great work. But they had to go through, all those communities had to go through an action plan, forming a steering committee made up of these key partners within the community. Next slide. I would also like to add, while I'm talking, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. We'll have time definitely for questions and answers. Oh, wait, let me go back one more. If I could go back a slide. I also wanted to tell all the participants, when you go home, when you're driving to your home or you're going into your community, if you see a Yellow Ribbon sign underneath your community sign, like in the picture, first picture under Farmington there, that means you're part of a Yellow Ribbon community. And we would love for you to get involved with your local Yellow Ribbon network. And I'll show you how at the end of the presentation here. Okay, next slide. Now, we just don't let these communities out and have to work by themselves. We surround them with all the military resources we have in the state, which are all resources available to all of you. Those of you who are veterans, either currently serving or have served, please contact your county veteran service officer just for a check-in to let them know you live within the county. This is a great resource for you and your family to have and an opportunity. We also have soldier and family readiness across the state. We have 14 of them, and we have 2 airmen and family readiness support assistants across the state. These are people whose full-time job it is to support those who are currently serving, to call families who have deployed service members, and to really help us with our Yellow Ribbon communities to find, to help the communities find the gaps in resources and get resources within the community. We also work closely with our Minnesota Assistant Council for Veterans, which is our homeless veteran nonprofit within the state. All of our Yellow Ribbon networks that are in our 58 Minnesota National Guard Armory communities have a unit rep assigned to those Yellow Ribbon networks. So we're working very closely with the Minnesota National Guard to build relationships with their unit reps to ensure their service members are supported. Also, I mentioned our veteran representative at DEED, which is our Department of Employment and Economic Development. Anyone who's on this meeting looking for a job, if you are a veteran or a military spouse, that is our first stop shop to get you to a career force center to meet with a DEED veteran rep. That is where all of our companies that are looking to hire military spouses, that are looking to hire service members and veterans, that's where we send them to our career force centers in Minnesota. We also have great partnerships with our VA, and we have a Yellow Ribbon Regional Outreach Coordinator, Rachel Johnson, who really helps our communities get the support they need, because our communities are made up of volunteers, and we always are looking for new volunteers in our community networks, and Rachel helps support volunteers within the state. Next slide. Our Yellow Ribbon community program was so successful, and let me tell you when I knew it was successful. It was when we had several Yellow Ribbon networks in between 2008 and 2010. And I reached out to 6 of them in the northern part of the state of Minnesota because we had a military family who needed a new refrigerator. Within 17 minutes of my request, we had 6 brand new refrigerators willing to be delivered to the military family that needed help. That's how we knew that partnering with our communities, partnering with our Yellow Ribbon networks was something special that we had that was unique to Minnesota. We then were able to take it a step further. What if we took a company or an organization within Minnesota and we asked them to do the same thing, but we asked them to really concentrate on 3 areas within the organization. The first area being veteran recruiting, hiring, and retaining. The second area being military connected employee support. And the third area being military connected community support, really connecting in with our community networks and military organizations within the places the organizations served. So that's when we started our Yellow Ribbon Company program. This was we were able to mirror the community program in which we asked your organization to create a steering committee made up of key areas within the organization. And we asked the organization to send forth an action plan that is approved at the state level. Now, for a higher education organization such as yourself, we still have the same requirements that we ask of our larger companies such as Target, 3M, General Mills, for you to take a look at how you support your military connected employees, and in your case, students, how you are able to connect in with community networks, and how you are how your policies and procedures really support your employees and your students or your clients in that case. Now, I heard Sally mention it was 2010, so I apologize. I must have got the date wrong of your proclamation. But I thought I had in my notes that your proclamation ceremony was in 2011, but it was definitely Inver Hills Community College was one of our earliest partners in participating in the Yellow Ribbon Company program. And I thank you for that. You have been, Sally and Sue, I work with them frequently. They have been wonderful partners. We've been able to help many students over the years, and you have been able to help in the Dakota County communities within where you serve. So thank you for that. We ask the companies to really come together internally to look at how they're supporting military connected. And today we have 72 companies. Actually, It's 73. Our action plan review board just this morning approved our newest yellow ribbon company, which is Grand Casino, Hinckley and Mille Lacs. So we're very excited to add them to the listing. But we have several yellow ribbon companies, and I posted all of our website in the comments. And on our website is our listing of our yellow ribbon companies. But we really utilize the best practices, not only from Inver Hills Community College, but they hear about the best practices that General Mills has, and Target and US Bank and Wells Fargo. Everyone works together. All of our companies work together. Next slide. And there's several partnership opportunities that our companies come together and work with. The first is we bring them together twice a year to really share those best practices, to hear about what they're doing. We've even gotten to the point where they are sharing resumes. If they don't have a great spot for a veteran, an opening, they're able to share resumes. And last year, Wells Fargo shared a resume with US Bank, their competitor, and they were able to get the veteran hired because of that. So we're doing some great things with bringing together all of 73 of our yellow ribbon companies. Our yellow ribbon companies help us with volunteer opportunities every year. Those of you who are military connected, hopefully next year. We weren't able to participate this year, but the State Fair has Military Appreciation Day, and we have over 250 yellow ribbon company volunteers, and Inver Hills has been there every year helping us with Military Appreciation Day with all the events we have throughout the year. So I thank you for that. And it's so wonderful to see all the yellow ribbon companies together in their shirts, coming together and really working together to make Military Appreciation Day at the State Fair such a great success. Our yellow ribbon companies also show up when our honor flights come in twice a year at the airport to greet our World War II veterans who are coming home from seeing the monuments in Washington, D.C. Within the Minnesota National Guard, as President Burt mentioned, I am a civilian on the Adjutant General's staff. I have campaign plan metrics that we are looking at within the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program at the state level that I report to the highest level within the Minnesota National Guard. And even though I'm a civilian on the staff and I work for the Minnesota National Guard, my role is a purple role. It's supporting all service branches, all veterans of any age or era. One of the camp plan metrics includes you. It is, we have partnered with Minnesota State to ask all Minnesota State colleges and universities to become yellow ribbon companies. So we are working very closely. Out of the 37, we are at 20. So we are very close to getting that achievement within the Minnesota State colleges and universities. Mankato State will probably be our next one. They're going to be putting their action plan in in the next couple months. So we're really excited to have them join. But what's unique about Inver Hills Community College is you were really at the beginning of that. And we're able to use you as an example to the other Minnesota State colleges and universities to showcase how you can put forth an action plan, and your best practices that you have at Inver Hills Community College has really helped us to showcase that to our other Minnesota State colleges and universities to ensure that they're able to do the same things that you're doing in partnering. So we're really excited with that. The other exciting camp plan metric is that we're asking all 16 of our Minnesota headquartered Fortune 500 companies to become yellow ribbon companies. We have 12 out of 16 now, so that's a metric that I'm working with. And it's really a great opportunity for us to partner our Minnesota State colleges and universities with our big companies so that they can share the best practices, that we can have partnerships with our companies throughout Minnesota and bring them together twice a year and share their best practices. Also, Inver Hills, you all have been great with our wonderful employment mentor program that we started 2 years ago. This is an opportunity for our service members and our veterans and our military spouses to mentor with a company in the industry that they are interested in. So we often receive, currently we're working with the 700 members of our ECAB unit that have just returned home to Minnesota. 25 of them have opted into our employment mentor program. We are reaching out to all 73 of our yellow ribbon companies to identify mentors to those service members, and we have 2 spouses as well in that group. And we do it per industry. So currently, your organization is working with one of our ECAB soldiers who's just returned. She's not sure what she wants to go into. And Sue and Sally were able to help me find a match within your area, within Inver Hills Community College. So thank you for that. It's a great opportunity. And I'll talk just a minute on how you, if you're looking for a job, can tap into that employment mentor program. Also, our yellow ribbon companies have helped with resources, and anytime we have a need, I am sending a need request out that Sue and Sally receive. And if it's something that your organization can help us with, you are Johnny on the spot, making sure that we're able to get those needs met, whether it be sending employees or students out to help a veteran with yard work or a move. You have been there, so I thank you. And again, Inver Hills Community College is a model for how we want our yellow ribbon companies to interact with need requests in your area, and with an opportunity to showcase all the great work that you're doing within the organization. Next slide. What has really transpired from our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program since 2008? It's really been an opportunity for us to synchronize our efforts, to reduce redundancy, to really work together within the state. And let me tell you, there is not a month that goes by that I don't get a call from another state that is wondering how we do that. How do we do this in Minnesota? How do we get everyone to work together and to synchronize our efforts and to really focus our support? And it's been just the partnership we've had with organizations such as yourself, with our community networks, and with our internally within the military in Minnesota, and nationally with our resources nationally and internally. We're able to educate our organizations, our yellow ribbon companies and communities where the gaps are, where we really need help. And so it's an opportunity for us to fill the gaps in resources and support for our service members, veterans, and military families. We currently are working on really synchronizing our communications, so all of our yellow ribbon networks in the communities across our state are connected at the county level and regional level. So that's been a huge undertaking in the last couple of years, as well as continuing our biannual yellow ribbon company seminars to be able that we're really connected, that our companies know what the resources are and are able to help us with employment or education services. So that's been a great opportunity for that. I don't know if many of you have heard of that term, but it's a big term and nationally is community capacity building. How do we get communities to come together and tap into their capacity for support, in our case, for support, for ensuring that our service members are welcomed home to their communities. For example, in our Yellow Ribbon Community Program, one of the minimum requirements is that the city leaders show a visible sign of support to service members, veterans, or military families. We know that when that happens in a community, we know when that happens in a workplace, and somebody is recognized for their service and is welcomed back after a deployment, we know from the VA studies that simple act helps in their resiliency. So that is something that is really important within our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program. And it was something that we asked of your leaders at Inver Hills Community College. How do they visibly show support to service members, veterans, and military families? And they made commitments to do that within Inver Hills Community College. And I hope those of you who are veterans or military connected are feeling that when you come either to work at Inver Hills Community College or you come to take a class there, that you feel that support, because it is there and they have made that commitment and they are showcasing it in every way within Inver Hills Community College. So thank you for that. Also, we've been able to get within our state, we've been able to synchronize our messaging. So you'll hear me say that, or I know that might be one of the questions is how do I tap into these yellow ribbon companies? How do I tap into if I'm looking for employment or I'm starting to graduate from Inver Hills Community College? And that is, we get you to a career force center. That is where everyone's meeting. That is our synchronized message to go to a Minnesota Career Force Center and to be able to work with the veteran reps there, be able to work with the staff with their free courses. That's a great opportunity. And that's where our yellow ribbon companies are working directly with our vet reps and directly with the staff at Career Force Centers. And that's where we're able to get people into our employment mentoring program. So that's very exciting. We've been doing some very exciting things in the state, and Inver Hills Community College has been at the helm of that with us to be able to do this synchronization of effort. Next slide. So really, President Abraham Lincoln really not only honored those who were serving everywhere, but also the people who help support those who have served, and those of us who are helping within our communities and our counties. And the reason we do that in Minnesota is we are working at the state level to ensure that there is no military family, no veteran, no service member currently serving that feels isolated or alone in Minnesota communities, that they know where to turn, they know where to get help, and they know that they have people within our state that are willing to help support them and honor their service. And that is what we are working towards and what we have always worked towards since we started the program in 2008. It's an opportunity for us to find those service members who are struggling, those military families who need an extra pair of hands. That is what we are striving to do here at the state level and at our community level and in our workplace. We're in our workplaces is to make sure that we are connecting and we honor those who are doing that great work. And we thank you because Inver Hills Community College has been doing that from the very beginning of our program. So I thank you for that. Now I'd like to, next slide. I would like to entertain any questions. If anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat box or take yourself off of mute. We would love to entertain any questions that you might have or comments.
Annette, I have a question. I imagine it's been difficult for you to keep all of the yellow ribbon companies and organizations engaged during the pandemic. So could you share some ways in which you're gathering people virtually or having organizational events that bring people together to keep energized to help our veterans?
Yes, that's thank you, Sally. That's been definitely a challenge not only as the companies themselves are trying to figure out their internal organizational procedures during this time. So they got really busy with those types of things. What we've really done with our yellow ribbon companies is engage them in our programming that we're working, like our employment mentor program. Also, we keep them updated on upcoming deployments, who's deploying when, and talking about the deployment information on the deployments within the Minnesota National Guard and other service branches as we have large deployments throughout the state. The companies also have been wonderful at participating in our regional meetings that we have for the Yellow Ribbon Community Networks. And those have been gone to a virtual platform. And we've just set the 2021 meetings that I'll be sending out to all the Yellow Ribbon companies. And this is a great opportunity for our companies to see what the communities are working on, to identify ways that they can partner at the regional, county, and community level. Some companies might not be able to partner with certain things, but they could do other things. One of the examples that I'll share with you is we have very close to you, the Egan Yellow Ribbon Network has a Toys for Military Kids program. And many of our Yellow Ribbon companies were the collectors of the toys for the kids. So this year we had to get a little creative, and we're no longer doing a toy collection, but we're going to be collecting gift cards for the families to be able to give them so they can buy toys for their family. So we had to adjust a little bit, but it was an opportunity for us to get information out to our yellow ribbon companies who are looking for opportunities to get involved. And we recently had our yellow ribbon companies help us with some care packages. We had a wish list come over of some of our units that are currently deployed. One of our units is in Africa right now, and so they had some unique requests that they needed, and I just sent out a request. The chaplain corps within that group is going to be hoping soon to be able to go to orphanages in Africa, and we just sent out that wish list to our yellow ribbon companies. So we've been really trying to keep them engaged, to let the companies and the communities plug into what fits with them, plug into the opportunities that they can get involved in the way that fits with their culture and the way they're doing things in this new environment. So it's allowed us to have the companies pick and choose how they can get involved. And thank you, Sally. I think you already have, like I said, helped us find a mentor for one of our female service members, just returned. So that's another way that the companies have been staying involved, is to get those mentor matches for us. Good question.
Annette,
See if
this
there's
is
any.
Nina. Can you let us know, I understand that we have around 700 individuals that are returning from an aviation unit. What does the rest of the deployment look like for service members in the Minnesota National Guard at this point?
So I just had the stats. I'm going to try to think of them in my head. I just got them in a meeting yesterday, so I don't have them right in front of me, but we currently have two fairly large units who are currently deployed within the Minnesota National Guard, one a group of about 700 and another 500. We are anticipating another deployment. So within the next year, we are going to have between 1,200 and 1,700 deployed. We also, as many of you have seen in the news, have deployed our service members for civil unrest within the state. We are anticipating possibly more of that as the trials, the George Floyd trials, start happening in 2021. So we are gearing up for how we can support those service members and their families during state active duty. In fact, during the last state active duty, we had almost 5,200 service members in 12 different locations across the state in 12 different armories. And we activated support. We were sending out need requests to our yellow ribbon networks, and they were answering our need requests for water, Gatorade, beef jerky, even toward the end of the state active duty, because they didn't think it would last that long, underwear and socks and shampoo. And we were meeting all of those needs within the state. So that was a great news story, and we are preparing, unfortunately, for 2021 with the possibility of some more state active duty activations. So not only internationally, overseas deployments, but right here in Minnesota.
Annette, I have a question. If a veteran or a family member is in need, how would they connect to a yellow ribbon city? How do they go about asking for help?
So on our, in the chat box, I put our website, our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon website. We just this week updated our website where you can click on the city and you can get the contact of the local Yellow Ribbon Network. You can even click within the region and get all the support, the County Veteran Service Officer, the State Family Assistance, Soldier and Family Readiness Assistance, and the local Yellow Ribbon Network. So that's a feature that just came on our website this week. So we're really excited about that. We encourage everyone in your community. We have Yellow Ribbon Networks that would love for you to get involved. They would love for anyone who's military connected to help on their committee or be on their volunteer list to help. Also, our soldier and family readiness, we just hired 14 of them across the state. They are in place now, and they are really dedicated to helping the currently serving, those who are currently serving and their families, and they have several resources. So we have many of those across the state. And in your area, we have one in Rosemount, we have one in Inver Grove Heights, so at the Armory. So it's been a great, we just got that team up to speed. So they're all in place now, and they're helping with resources, and they're partnering with the local Yellow Ribbon networks. So please go to our website and either reach out for help or get involved with the Yellow Ribbon Network in your area.
Hi, this is Janet Shepchuk, president of the Inver Grove Heights Beyond Yellow Ribbon, and I just had a couple of comments. So if you'll bear with me here, try to put my thoughts together. But we are a small, Inver Grove Heights, we're a small company. We have about half dozen folks, and we have, you know, full-time employment. We try to do what we can and be responsive. And I think one of the issues that we have is that, you know, folks don't necessarily know how to contact us. So I very much appreciate that. And to kind of, you know, piggyback on what you just said, we'd be more than happy to help out. We just need people to reach out to us. A lot of times it's for, you know, services like helping, you know, snowplow somebody's driveway, something like that. We also do have a small amount of money, so we have some resources. So feel free to reach out to us. We're lucky to be able to partner with folks from Inver Hills. They, you know, come to our meetings. They have representative at our meetings, and so that's been very helpful because we've restarted this group so many times that we don't have the same history and knowledge just about procedures and access to resources in general. So it can be kind of overwhelming for us at times too, but we'd love to have, you know, if you have students that you think it would help them to somehow connect up with us, if they have needs, things like that, it would be awesome. And so I appreciate first of all, the partnership that we have with Inver Hills, and then also being invited to listen to this presentation and just be involved that way as well. So feel free. I'd also like to know, I see there's some students on the call. What are they pursuing? And just kind of, I don't know if this is a time or place for that, but I'd be kind of interested to know, and if there's any way that we can help.
Thank you, Janet. It is volunteer leaders like Janet that help make our Yellow Ribbon community so successful. And they are just volunteering their time to bring together all the areas within their community. We also have state requirements of them to remain a Yellow Ribbon community network in good standing. So it's a lot. It's a program that volunteer leaders. It is not a for the faint of heart to run a Yellow Ribbon network. So yes, they always need help. I'll give you a great example. I see Carrie Rush Curl is on here. Hi, Carrie. She was at Normandale Community College. Normandale is partnering with the Bloomington Yellow Ribbon Network. And I have recently moved. So instead of Farmington being my home network, now my home network is Bloomington Yellow Ribbon Network. And we became aware that there were several veteran students when Normandale went online that did not have the equipment they needed to be able to do the online classes. So Yellow Ribbon Network worked with Normandale Community College to purchase anything that the service members needed. They purchased webcams, one needed a tablet, one needed some headphones. That was a partnership, and that shows the example of the partnership of what the Yellow Ribbon community can do. That if they had not had that partnership with Normandale, they would never have known that there were veteran students who were in need of those types of things with the change in the online learning. How about any other questions or comments?
I'll jump in again.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, you coordinated an extraordinary event to help all of us as part of the Yellow Ribbon Companies, fly up to Duluth. And I had the honor of being in a C-130 that actually made it that day because we did have weather issues. But I want to say from my perspective of having family members that served, and I currently have someone who's currently serving in the military, this gave me a really unbelievable different perspective of what the military do on a daily basis when you're being shipped out and when you have to go to places. My question to you is, how did you organize all of this, and that the military was so willing and accepting to bring all of these companies together and take us up to Duluth for a wonderful meeting?
Well, that was one of our biannual seminars, and we were able to partner with the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, who often do boss lifts for that very reason, Sally, to give bosses of the Guard and Reserve an opportunity to really see what the Guard and Reserve do and in their everyday life. So it was a great opportunity to partner on that. We have also seen, just since I joined the Minnesota National Guard and the Department of Military Affairs in 2010, really an opportunity for our military leaders to be able to have an opportunity to really partner with civilian counterparts and civilian leaders. And the Yellow Ribbon Company program has enabled us to do that. Thomson Reuters, close to you guys and Egan there, Thomson Reuters is a Yellow Ribbon Company, and every year they bring in high-powered people to do leadership development and to really train on being a leader for all their leaders. And they hold 5 seats for our military leaders to attend. And that's something that our military leaders would never have the opportunity to take part in. When Colin Powell comes and talks about being a leader, or someone comes and talks about being a leader, and our Yellow Ribbon Companies are opening up their seats for us to be able to send our military leaders to that. That is unique to Minnesota. And that has been the result of our Yellow Ribbon Company program, to have our leaders be able to find ways that they can partner, they can give back to the companies, they can showcase to the companies and company personnel about day in the life of military people, as well as just out and out sharing our resources and sharing their resources with us. One of the unique things with what has come out of our partnering with Minnesota Fortune 500 companies is many of them have employee resource groups or diversity and inclusion groups. So this past year, we have taken our internal Minnesota National Guard diversity and inclusion groups, and we partnered with those companies' employee resource groups. So we've been able to share events with the LGBT group and with Women's Leadership Group and with the Asian American groups at Ecolab, Securian, Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's enabled us to showcase to our service members how they could partner with civilian world. And even just attending diversity and inclusion or employee resource group for our soldiers gives them an opportunity to see what it's like in the corporate environment. So that's been something new we've done this past year. And we've really been doing it with our larger companies. And it's been a great part. They've been able to share speakers. They've been able to share events. So that's what we're always coming up with ideas how we can partner our Yellow Ribbon Companies with our military leaders within the state, and how we can showcase just what you said, Sally, how to showcase to our Yellow Ribbon Companies how they can see what it's like to be in the military and to get a sense of what it is like. I often share in my talks, and those of you who are on the call that have had a family member leave, when my son deployed, I seriously had kind of a flashback. Like I tell people, it wasn't a 19-year-old boy that I saw get on the bus to go to Iraq. It was a little boy with a Batman cape. That was my son, and it was just surreal to see that, and then to have to say goodbye. And there's service member who was part of my son's unit, and I will never, ever forget. They actually left out of the Inver Grove Armory in Inver Grove Heights there. And that service member had a new baby who was 2 weeks old, and he took that baby and held that baby till they got on the bus and then passed that baby down. And that was when I first realized what the sacrifice that these service members, when they go away, that was really a powerful moment for me to really showcase what they do. And now I just saw that little girl just celebrate like her 12th birthday or something like that, because I'm friends with her dad on Facebook. And I felt really old. It's been a while since my son deployed. Let's see if we have any other questions here. How about any of the students? Do you have any questions, or was this new information to you, or have you heard of our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program, or do you know? Answer me in the chat if you know if you have one within your community, or if you've had an experience with the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon network. We would really love to hear that.
So good afternoon. My name is Tim Smith. I'm a Navy veteran. I retired May of 2019. I've been in Inver Hills now for essentially since May of 19. Annette, thank you for everything you do. Actually, I had the privilege of working for Sue Flanagan last year before COVID-19. So I was able to really connect with numerous different opportunities, not just with Yellow Ribbon, but the amount of support that veterans really do get in the state. Obviously, Yellow Ribbon's part of that, but Sue really kind of is able to reach out to many different veterans and active duty military members with the VA, Yellow Ribbon program, the Yellow Ribbon companies. I've looked into that. In fact, funny enough, for whatever reason, I chose Farmington to move here. I had no idea that the Yellow Ribbon program was where or Farmington was where the Yellow Ribbon community was established. However, every day when I take my children to school, I do pass the Farmington sign with the Yellow Ribbon placard there. So, it's something to be very proud of. I think what the school has done for veterans has been amazing. From honor flights that we've organized, and even having a Veterans Day event such as this. Last year, obviously, it was in person, but even this is such an amazing opportunity. Students really, as a veteran, I feel like really feel connected to the school here. And that's not just you, but that's instructors knowing how to deal with veterans and active duty military members, and admissions. Maybe I can't get everything today because I have to go away for a few weeks, but I can get it back to you as soon as I can. So I think Inver Hills has done an amazing job in coalition with the Yellow Ribbon program, making sure that students feel welcome and that they know they have a huge support network at Inver Hills. So I think everything you do and started, Annette, I know that I even have friends in South Dakota now. I just sent them some Yellow Ribbon information for them to possibly look into. They just moved actually like 2 days ago. So they're looking for jobs, so I've really kind of gotten on board with utilizing the resources available instead of just using, monster.com, I suppose, to find that next career field. So thank you for everything Inver Hills and that you've done for us.
Well,
Thank you
Tim,
for your comments, Tim.
Yep. Thank you for your service as well, Tim. And I see Alan's on here as well. And there's quite a few other veterans on here too. So once again, thank you very much for your service. It never goes unrecognized.
Hi, this is Janet Lorenzo. I wanted to piggyback off of what Tim was saying. I'm an Inver Hills alumni, and under Sue's guidance, I actually transitioned as the school certifying official and veteran and military coordinator for North Hennepin Community College. So I'm really excited about the new opportunity that I have there. And I'm really excited to see that Inver Grove Heights is doing well for the city of Inver Grove Heights for the Yellow Ribbon. I was the chair with Janet for a little bit and moved on. So now North Hennepin, I just became the chair for the Yellow Ribbon there as well. So I'm really excited for all the opportunities. And I wish everyone the best. And it looks like we're doing just as awesome as before, and we're continuing to grow. And this just gives me a lot of good feelings about where we're headed.
Thank you, Janet, and your great, wonderful volunteer work. You're even taking it to the next place. I appreciate that.
If it wasn't for Janet Lorenzo, we would have, in Inver Grove Heights, the cities beyond the yellow ribbon would not even be where we're at. So I appreciate that. And, you know, that's the reason we also started the nonprofit, and we're able to start to have a bank account with some actual funds to help people. So thank you, Janet.
It definitely was a blast raising those funds, but from there, just continue to grow. It's really exciting, really exciting.
Thank you.
Hello, Annette. My name is Laura. I'm from Human Resources Office Department with Inver Hills Community College and Dakota County Technical College. We're looking to maybe definitely expand our postings, job postings, and we would love to connect with more veterans. So can you tell me, would it be the Minnesota Works .net website that we would be posting on? Or what other resources would you recommend?
Yes, not only the Minnesota Works, but the veteran representative at DEED. I see Carly Teagues is on here. Is it Jeff Dexter in that area? I think it's Jeff Dexter. I don't know if you've encountered with him, but I can get his contact information.
Yep, it is Jeff Dexter.
Oh.
And,
That would be wonderful. Yes.
yep, Jeff Dexter does outreach with Inver Hills students as well. So Laura, if you need his information, please let me know and I'll forward it to you.
I'll reach out to you, Sue. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Laura, Jeff Dexter is one of the veteran reps at all the career force centers. They cover all the career force centers across the state, and they are partnering with our yellow ribbon companies and with openings, and they're able to get openings within their team and throughout organizations that are helping transitioning service members and veterans. So it's been a great partnership. And I again would reiterate to everyone on this call who is looking for work, if you're military connected, get online, find a career force center. The classes that they offer are all online now. They're free and they're wonderful. Their LinkedIn class is wonderful. Their resume class is wonderful. And if you can work directly with a vet rep, they will casework you and send you, you can get on their list and they will send you openings. We're all working together with DEED and Gina from Minnesota State. There's hardly a meeting that we don't go that we're all working together from an education standpoint and from an employment standpoint within the state. But we all meet at the career force centers. That's where we get all of our information when we're working at our work groups at the state level. Any of those resources are trickling down to Jeff and his counterparts across the state. Good questions, comments. I encourage everyone to get involved with their Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Network in their community, or check with Sue and Sally, see how you can help with the committee at Inver Hills Community College. Again, we're always looking for people to get involved, or if you know of somebody who is in need, we want to connect them to the great resources. We always work together to help with get the resources for any service member, military connected person in our state. So I encourage you all to get involved if you can, and to also reach out if you need some help or some resources that are available.
Well, thank you, Annette. I see that we're coming to the end of our time. And so I wanted to say, on behalf of all the administrators and faculty and staff at Inver Hills, the Yellow Ribbon Committee would like to thank all veterans for their service. Many people don't understand the selfless acts that they endure during the time of service. We here at Inver Hills appreciate, support, and thank all veterans, and it does not go unnoticed at Inver Hills. We want to give a special shout out to our students and graduates and our veterans. We are proud of our students and graduates who have served, and we continue to encourage them in their educational journey with us and beyond. Lastly, I'd like to thank you, Annette. Annette, you have always been a great supporter of Inver Hills. Your presentation is inspirational for us. You really give us that shot in the arm to keep going. And we look forward to continuing our mission and working with the Beyond Yellow Ribbon organization. It's a great group, and we hope everyone joins us. I put a link to our website in the chat. So again, on behalf of all of us, thank you for attending our event. And we encourage you to thank a veteran as we approach Veterans Day on November 11th. And please have a wonderful rest of your day and stay connected to Inver Hills. Thank you.